filmmaking is a very very is the dearmost thing to me in my life. It's my God, it's my mother, it's my father, it's my lover, it's my everything is cinema. You have to understand that I am a very cursed and very blessed. I am very loved and I am very hated. I am very successful and I am very unsuccessful. And when you have somebody to talk to, you're not lonely. When you're not lonely, you don't get tired very fast. You don't feel exhausted. You don't feel low in life. And art should be created out of loneliness, yes, out of angst, yes, but out of great joy. So now I'm a joyous filmmaker, I'm a happy filmmaker.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to THR Talks. This is the first on-ground event for the Hollywood Reporter India. And I cannot tell you how thrilled I am to kick it off with an artist who has mesmerized audiences for more than 25 years. I think he has changed the aesthetic of Indian cinema. And I would say that there is more beauty in our lives because of him. So please put your hands together for the incomparable Sanjay Leela Bhansali. So Sanjay, I'm going to begin.
One second, how many of you all love me? You can go for it now. I'm okay.
I'm going to start by diving into the deep end, okay, with something you said just after Guzarish. And your words were, I didn't realize how tired I was until the film was over. Then my body just gave up. All my films are a process of self-annihilation for me. With every film of mine, a part of me gets left behind. Is this still the process?
No, that has changed. With time, everything changes.
Tell me what
After
happens.
Guzarish, if you realize, I was very rejuvenated. I realized that Black didn't work very well at the box office. Then Savaria didn't work well at the box office. Then Guzarish didn't work well at the box office. So maybe it was in one of that state of mind where I said that I'm feeling very tired, I'm feeling I've left behind a lot, which has not been seen or understood or acknowledged. So then you got up and said, well, let me get back to my Bhuleshwar basic melodramatic self. So came Ram Leela, Bajirao, Padmavat, Gangubai, Hiramandi. I'm not tired anymore. And I've yet left a lot of myself in each work that I do. It's very intense. It's my work is like I work like a mazdoor. All those big sets and the opulence and the beauty that you see, it comes out of hours and hours and months and years of hard work, which you enjoy. It's not that you have to just do hard work and labor. You have to enjoy. You have to be inspired doing that work. So I've been very inspired. I've enjoyed doing war sequences for a change and action sequences for a change and very, very big after Devdas, the big song dance routines. So there was so much of life that came into me and all that I wanted to pay tribute to great characters like Bajirao, like Padmavat, like Gangubai. And I chose those characters because they are they help me express through my film a part of something that I was, that I am, that I've seen, that I've experienced, otherwise I won't make those films. So part of me still is left behind. I do finish seeing some chapter which closes, then after 2 films I realize it has not gone. Those moments of your life which you grow up with, which inspire you to make a particular character or a particular film, you feel you've said it, you've done it, you have purged, but then you've not. because it again comes back to you in some way. And you realize that, Gangubai, I know I made two mistakes. I know I left two things behind unsaid. We'll try and solve it somewhere. So a part of me is always going to get exhausted given, but I've now started enjoying because got the love of the audience. When your work is seen, is understood, it is the audience is interacting with it. They've understood your way of filmmaking. They grant you that place that, okay, we are an audience. We may not like your film sometimes. We like your film sometimes. But I found that dialogue. And when you have somebody to talk to, you're not lonely. When you're not lonely, you don't get tired very fast. You don't feel exhausted. You don't feel low in life. And art should be created out of loneliness, yes, out of angst, yes, but out of great joy. So now I'm a joyous filmmaker. I'm a happy filmmaker.
How lovely. Oh. And speaking of a dialogue with the audience, Netflix recently released What We Watched, which is what people watched in the first half of this year. Hira Mandi, folks, the only Indian series in the top 100 of Netflix. How amazing. So there's definitely a dialogue, but let's talk a little bit about this process of creation. Here's what I'm fascinated by. Don't look like that, yeah?
No. I'm already thinking of how many times have I said it, and I have to
No.
say it a little differently one more time.
No. Here's my question. Okay, here's my question. Sanjay, you've always said that it's very much a subconscious sort of flowering, right? You told me Lalish came to you when you were taking a shower. Images, characters, lyrics, music, it all just springs out of you. You're not a filmmaker who's fussed about research or rehearsals or, even somebody who's extremely connected to being realistic in that very literal sense. What we see when we come to your cinema is the world you create, right? But making movies is so expensive. It's all about deadlines. The subconscious is so mysterious. It's so unknowable. Is there a contradiction there? Like, how do you sort of make the subconscious work to what you want it to?
It's a difficult question, isn't it? You have to understand where I come from in the first place. If you visualize a small little chawl in a 300 square feet, colorless, the walls had no color. And we had a family of 4 or 5 people living in a cramped place. The conversations that I heard early in my life was when my father had invested money in some film called Jhaji Lutera, which was released before I was born. But while I was born and I was growing up and I started understanding words, all I heard was that cinema mein paisa dalna nahi chahiye. Dekho where we've landed up. How do we do? Yet the lure of cinema in my family remained so much that when my grandmother collected some 10,000 rupees out of whatever she was finding, she went and invested in a film called Sone Ke Haath. Those 10,000 rupees to the producer who was my father's friend. We never got that back. But this child who was staying in that house uh, realized that I started living in a dream world. The reality was very harsh. So I would never go anywhere near a realistic film or anything that is real or anything that is, it has to be in my mind. That mind of that real world I rejected. I feel I'm that filmmaker who has painted those 300 square feet of walls into innumerable number of huge, beautifully painted, designed sets. Because that is where the dream started. That is a power of watching something that I get emotional when I talk about it, but that is where the filmmaker is born. Now what happens is that you are living in a parallel world. Everybody doesn't understand that. To go with my grandmother to get that 10,000 rupees from the producer took hours and hours of walking back to Kolaba, coming back all the way. She would carry a bottle of water so that if we are hungry, we would drink that water. But is this what cinema does to you? This is the film. My mother used to dance, beautiful dancer. She used to dance in that 100 square feet that she would get. So after that, my heroines danced in the biggest sets ever shot in Hindi cinema. Uh, so all that angst, which I was an intelligent kid to understand, to imbibe, to react to translate it into a vision, I want those 10,000 rupees back with interest. So I've made very big films. I've earned the right to make big films. So the subconscious, or what remains at the back, is a lot of angst and chaos. Out of that comes all my work intuitively. It is how I respond. I would not like to, but since I'm here and this is the first and the last time I would be talking to an audience, um,
You're going to have so much fun, you'll want to do this every other month.
ask them, not me. So you realize how much power of communication from there affected his child. So all that cinema that comes out of Devdas is a tribute to that alcohol bottle my father cherished. And then every film has a subtext. From that subtext comes out the natural expression. It is not. Here is a story of a spy who goes here and does this, and then there was action and there was beautiful dialogue, and no, no, no. It is personal cinema. This cinema is uncomfortable. My films will never be the blockbuster that other directors would give. It's not about counting crores. It's about impressions of what came onto me as an artist. Can I put them back? Filmmaking is a very is the dearmost thing to me in my life. It's my God, it's my mother, it's my father, it's my lover, it's my everything is cinema. If I look at it, in some birth I may have been a poet, in some birth I may have been a musician, in some birth I may have been an architect, in some birth I may have been a painter, in some birth I may have been nothing, but in this birth I'm a filmmaker. And I now take all those experiences because I know that my soul is old. It knows a few things. And that is the subconscious from where things emerge. Because it comes from so many lives. It's abstract. It may be a little awkward for a lot of people to listen and say, what crap, what nonsense is he talking? But this is the time to combine all those births and all that I know from the past into one art form which allows it all to come together.
There's a sort of fundamental contradiction at the heart of this, right? Because more than anything, I feel you're a director who wants absolute control. When I see a Sanjay Leela Bhansali frame, I know everything in it is there because you wanted it. You know, the way light falls on a character's face, the way, you know, a little bit of hair will come, or the way the sari pallu will flutter. It's because you said that needs to flutter at that moment, right? So you want absolute control, but the subconscious is something you don't have control over. Is there a tension in that?
No, no. There is always a restlessness in the mind when I'm making a film. So people who work with me find it a little difficult to work with me because there is something that I don't know what I want. Sometimes I'm walking the set and I've traveled somewhere else. Sometimes I don't get a scene. Sometimes it doesn't happen the way I want it to happen. And not because of me, because 150 other people working who may not sometimes understand what I want, but I pardon them, I forgive them for it. And sometimes they tolerate me and they're forgiving me for all my idiosyncrasies and restlessness and turmoil and chaos. That's how an artist should be treated. But I'm still not understanding your question. My subconscious, through which an image emerges, it emerges, and therefore people don't know where it's coming from. And how is it there are moments of magic on my set? It just, out of the blue, it just emerges, that moment. Even I'm unaware of it. So what contradiction can I talk about? What subconscious is automatically operating on telling you, there are times when I'm sitting and I'm not getting, and I suddenly get up and say, well, listen, you do this and you do this. And I'm going back, but not in the script. It is not in the discussion. It is not nowhere in anywhere in my mind till now. Where did that come? It's coming from my subconscious. It's coming from my dialogue with filmmakers who I always place around people I love. So I've always, when I'm making a film and I know I want to make it like Raj Kapoor Saab, then he's always seated behind. And I always know that he tells me what I have to do because I come back and I sit and said, where did I get this from? when did this moment appear? You are unaware of it. So how are you going to get aware of the contradictions of what you're feeling at that point of this is running amok, it's running haywire, the subconscious got so much inside, and how do you control and put it into one moment? You are unaware. When an artist is aware, he is not an artist. You have to be unaware of suddenly you paint and then you say, this happened. It may not happen, you will tear it and throw it away. But you are not aware of when that song came in the shower and when I said Lal Ishq, when I sang Diwani Mastani. What made me say this dialogue? What made me go and tell Alia, go and do this last look into the camera. Don't miss it. Uh, there are so many moments that you are not aware. And most of the time, I have never understood, analyzed my work when I'm doing it. Just when I go back and say, when Madhuri walked to Shah Rukh in Devdas, was it the snake that I was talking about that will eventually seduce Devdas, and she brings the blue poisonous perfume bottle and then she touches him exactly where the Dracula would attack you? Is it the ultimate seduction? But I'm not aware of it at that point. It's the subconscious allowing. I'm flowing with it. And when you do that, that filmmaking sometimes is very not easy to connect to and understand. You will write the review of Guzarish. You will have a lot of problem with which you had.
He never forgets this.
Which you had when, in the end, they all come and embrace him. For a man who's not been touched by another human being for years, who's not even been patted on the back, on the head, human touch is so important. And that's when all friends come and give him the last hug. You find players do it in the field. You find people leaving for another country all the time. I never understood what your problem with that moment was. Later. Then we'll shift chairs and do it. I've lost your question. What was it?
This tension between.
I've answered that.
Okay, so tell me this, because the other artist who speaks like this about the act of creation is A.R. Rahman, right? He once said this beautiful thing about how a song needs to come like the breeze making the leaves of a tree flutter. You cannot hold that tree and shake it and say, give me a song. So I said to him, but what do you do when it doesn't come? And he said, I pray. What do you do?
I pray very hard. He prays. I pray very hard. It's my destiny as a filmmaker where life has never been easy. Moments don't come easily. The whole process is very turbulent. I've always felt that if me and my contemporary filmmakers are running a 100-meter race, my track has hurdles. So I'm running a 400-meter hurdle. They are running a 100-meter clean track. Sometimes I think I beat them to that, in spite of them running a clean track. Sometimes I'm stumbled and fallen. But my track has never been easy. Uh, uh, it's again like going up the Himalayas. And what is it? How do you pronounce it? Avalanche after avalanche, just hitting me, and then I get up, and then I go up, and I come back. The good part of my filmmaking is that I don't have excess baggage. I don't live for anybody except for my film and for my mother. So I don't have excess baggage of being answerable to if there is a failure, what will happen to you. Failure is something you should never be afraid of. You will fall. Savaria was a film that crashed like the Twin Towers on 9/11. But I got up. I get up and then suddenly made a film with Hrithik Roshan, who's a Greek god, who's known for his action and his dance. And I said, "You're on the bed, only your neck moves." Harakiri, I'm not scared of it. So I'm a fearless director who waits for that moment to come. You have to pray for that moment to come. You have to be patient as a filmmaker, and you have to be very, very open to receive signals from the universe. The universe gives you everything. You sit back and say, I'm not getting that shot. No, what if Manisha Koirala made her stand in the fountain as she tries to purify herself after the rape? Where does that moment come from? Why did I put her over there? Why was it such an iconic image for me? Not for, I don't know, for others it may be, or whatever it is. But you have to wait for that moment, it comes to you, and you always, in my case, I get down to making a film when I know I'm ready with those moments in my mind. It takes 2 years to live with a script, to keep looking at it every day. for hours and hours and keep today first half, first half, second half, because you're already creating it in your mind, and those moments come. You have to wait. There are no leaves that will flutter in my filmmaking. There are no tree that I can go and shake either. It has been a lonely road, a long road, a very, very inspired road. I have been very inspired as a filmmaker, for sure. I'm terrible as a human being, but I'm a very inspired filmmaker. I may be very, very difficult to be with as a human being, but I'm very easy and very loved on the sets of my films. I may be very difficult to understand, be it my friends, relatives, whoever. I've never been understood, but my audience understands me. So I feel that that inspiration is where you stay and you continue to work like that. The day the inspiration rise up and when you feel nothing is talking to you, the universe is not talking to you. When Raj Kapoor refuses to come, when you invite and put a chair over there, and when V. Shantaramji doesn't come there, and K.R. is not there, then you might as well go in the search of tree then, I think, and that's when I'll go for it, looking for
But
it.
this has never happened that you've sat on your set, because the stories I've heard is that you'll have the script, you'll have everything, but then you will sit on the set and you can change everything.
Yeah, I
because
change everything.
You change everything. But it's never happened that you've sat there and you don't actually know what that next thing is. That's never happened.
No. I feel that that script, that page that I go with, and I know this is a scene you have to shoot, is the starting point. Then you go there in the set and the actors come in the costumes and the lighting happens and then you come alive. Now the moment is going to unfold. This is when you have to live that moment. So as a director, if you don't live that moment, but you're following the paper and say, "Ah, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this," that's not filmmaking. That is storytelling at another level. That is also filmmaking for a lot of filmmakers, and they've done successful films like that. For me, it is the essence of that moment that I'm trying to create. So how do I feel the need for Malika Jan to purge after she's been assaulted by the Britishers? So when you go into the fountain and make her stand over there, and now she is letting the water purify her, it's a moment that comes alive when I'm doing it. And I'd better be alive when I'm making it. How do I know when I'm going out who's going to be there at the door, who's going to come? Am I going to rehearse everything? Am I going to write everything on paper and go? As a filmmaker, I have to come. I mean, I walk in. I don't know who's sitting here. I don't know what is the color of this of the sofa going to be. So everything I'm assimilating in that one little glance. But I have to be very, very alert and alive to be able to do it. I have to respond to how am I going to make the audience feel what Manisha Karol is feeling. So that is where people have only spoken about. You gave the examples of the hair fluttering, of the eye moving, of the light falling. My filmmaking is more than that, Anu.
Of course.
It's about moments, it's about faces, it's about letting the audience feel in which place am I in. The humiliation that Mastani felt when that she was loved by Bajirao but not being accepted by Bajirao, and she was the other woman. I made Bajirao because there was a man who said, "You're not the other woman. You will come into my house and you will, because I've loved you." That is why I told that love story of a warrior. But how do I make people feel that humiliation? How do I make the character of Radhama walk in and there's a white cloth that surrounds and then shit unfolds? There are so many things, layers of what it does to you, how you understand, and as an audience, and interpret it in your own way. Each one will have an interpretation to the film that I'm making or a scene that I've shot. Um,
It's you.
So everybody has an and that is how I like a film to be. It has to have mystery. It has to have an enigma. There has to be a sense of unraveling what I'm doing. I don't like to do too many interviews. I've done this for you because I love you, and I love your reviews for my films. So, but yeah, I think you have to know me through my work. You cannot know me through because I'm unaware of what I do. I'm unaware of a lot of people in my office say, sir, you're this. I said, no, I'm nobody. I'm nothing. My next film, I'm as nervous as I was on my first film. So you were never aware. How is my experience of making Khamoshi or Hamdil or Devdas going to come in and help me making
Love and War.
Padmavat or Love and War? It is its own experience. It has its own challenges, problems. You have to finally reach it to the people. So all this, I am a filmmaker who's had a lot of success. No, it's all nonsense. You have to be insecure. You have to be. as long as I'm not misunderstood. Not understood is important. Misunderstood is not right. So please don't understand my work as beautiful shots, as a lot of beauty in the work. That beauty comes out of a lot of search. I told you those unpainted walls. Every dash of color goes out of deep within me, of how I interpret that character, how I interpret that moment. I'm always there with a brush. And very strangely, as a child, 3, 4 times I remember my father painting that house, and in a 6 months, the color would fade out, disappear. That was a destiny of me as a person who always wanted that wall to have color, and never. It would disappear. I knew my life had a different path. My walking into the film world was impossible. How did this boy who living in this Buleshwar chawl near Bindi Bazaar, Naka, could come here who never spoke, who had no friends, who had no influence? But there is a path. It is a long path. It could be different from how these people walk to that moment. I had to go round and round and round and round till my sister worked with Vinod Chopra. Till Vinod Chopra, she then told Chopra, then Renu Chopra forced Vinod Chopra. Then Vinod Chopra came and his characteristic style dismissed me off, and then he accepted me. And I worked with him for 8 years. And I was turned into, from a very simple, I turned into iron and steel. He made me iron and steel. After working with 8 years with Vinod Chopra, you can face anything in the world. You can go through anything in the world. And but look at how and where and when I found him.
Yeah.
And still till date, if Vinod Chopra's call comes, I stand up and talk, because that is uh, the gratitude you feel for somebody who changed your life. And he always told me, there's something in you, but I'm worried about you. So I said, why? He says, you don't talk. How will you tell people your ideas? How will you reach out to the actors? But I think today is very proud of what I've achieved. So I'm always uh, grateful. I will always be. I may not agree with a lot of things he's made, and vice versa. And that dialogue is very, very healthy, beautiful. But yeah, I always have a very special place in the heart of the man who changed my life.
Thank you. I will take that back to him.
Please.
Speaking of getting to know you through your cinema, Sanjay, one of my favorite moments from Hira Mandi was when, in that first episode, when a character comes to Malika Jan and offers to make a record. And she says कि हमारी महफिल में आवाज़ के कदरदान आते हैं, आवाज़ के दुकानदार नहीं. And I felt that was you speaking through Malika Jan, because it was something you would say to a distributor, to a producer. You know, Hindi cinema is as much of a market as Hira Mandi. How do you find that sweet spot between commerce and art?
By not trying to look for it, by not trying to think of it. I've been the most impractical, self-destructive filmmaker. When actor called me and said, "आप देवदास बना रहे हो?" उस वक्त 2001 में 50 करोड़ की पिक्चर, एक आदमी पेड़ के नीचे पारो पारो करके मर जाता है, उसके लिए आप वो प्रोड्यूसर की ये कर रहे हो, आप क्या कर रहे हो? आप, इज अ वेरी वेरी बिग एक्टर. I will not name him. It didn't matter to me. I didn't realize economics. I realized that moment needed this palace. I needed this moment, needed this costume. I need so many days to shoot it. This song will be done like this. It never occurred to me in any of my films of this is the budget vis-a-vis what am I going to earn through satellite, through digital, through these are. How do you discuss these territories in the beginning before making a script? You discuss the script. Who discusses territories? And a film will, even if you've discussed everything and you feel it's a very, very workable project on paper and distributors are going to be happy and exhibitors are, you don't know. Nobody knows how a film is going to be loved or not loved by people. So I've never been I've never sold myself. I've never done anything for money. I've never shot advertising films. I never thought it was right for me. My image is sacrosanct. It is to come from deep here, and from deep here, and from deep here. So it's very, very, these, and if it doesn't, then why will I sell your soap or anything? So for me, money or earning money, yes, as long as I know that you're not going to lose money if you're the producer and putting money, because that is my responsibility. But you don't count all that. You don't find it. And look at how I fought. After Savare, they said Sanjay Bhansali is over. Nobody actor wants to work with him. He's done and dusted, and they threw me out. But I am not going anywhere. I'm going to be here with my next one and with my next one. In Padmavat, I went through the whole barrage of attacks, physical, mental, emotional, everything. I never let anything show on the screen. I am iron and steel. I am not budging. You can do anything. Even when we were attacked, the first thing that came to me is, but tomorrow where will we put the camera? Should we go to that place? And they said, are you out of your head? You've been humiliated. I said, no, no, no. Every artist has to go through humiliation. If there is no humiliation, if there is no uh, anger in you about the wrong or the right that you've gone through, there is no expression. There is nothing you want to say. The expression, the expression comes out of angst, anguish. So I've treasured all that. I've been very blessed to be born to anguish. I've been blessed to have born to that 300 square feet colorless chawl. I've been blessed to have been born to a father who had left unfulfilled dreams behind, because that gives me so much grit that no other filmmaker can find it, because I've been born to it. So, some people are, when you're born with unfulfilled dreams, with nothing in you in your hand, with no future, where are you going to sit and count the soft spot for the commerce and all that? You just go out and make it, and you just say, the daggers have to be out all the time. So you have to understand that I am very cursed and very blessed. I'm very loved and I'm very hated. I am very successful and I'm very unsuccessful. So you have to understand that that is a contradiction that makes me what I am. I will always continue to be. It's okay, people don't have to understand you. They will understand maybe after years. As long as I keep saying again and again, do not equate my filmmaking to only beautiful visuals, because there is so much told in that one moment. That visual tells you there's so much in that when Paro runs in the end for Devdas. And वो जो large जो tradition जो हमेशा सर पे रखी थी, of being a bahu in a traditional house in those days where tradition was imperative, you had no escape. She lets it loose. She goes for the man who died, her lover who died. तो वो tradition को छोड़ देना और बेपरवाह भागना, तो वो ब्यूटीफुल इमेज नहीं है. वो आपके सोल पे आप उसको ब्यूटीफुल इमेज समझ के उसको छोड़ दो, बट आपके जहन में रहेगा वो कि it is stay in your mind that it is where she liberates herself. So Paro, what is the story of Devdas? He's a loser. He doesn't do anything. He got upset and then he went to Chandramukhi. No, no. There is a story of the man. My actors didn't understand. But why are we telling this story? People said, oh, this is romanticizing alcoholism. And I said, this is the story of a man who loved. सबसे बड़ा हिंदू दुनिया में काम अपना क्या है? To love, to give love. And to love like that, like you love your God. कि when I die, I have to see Paro. Even if I get a glimpse of a very muffled image of hers, I'll have breathed my last. Who of us, anyone over here who loves like that? I wanted to tell that story, that if you love somebody, that's how you love. Yeah. That is the story of a man who loved. So it's not a simple love story. So, but that reached. People have been making Devdas, and why? People are only saying, "Are a loser." It's not a loser. It's the man who's done the most noblest of deeds in his, from any of my characters. He loved Paro. If you asked anything, what happened this day, he would say Paro. What is the color of the sky? He'll say Paro. And that is love. That is a love story. So, what is the question I forgot?
It's just magical to hear him talk, right?
आप घर जाके विनोद को कहेंगे कि मैं पूछ रही थी कुछ, ये बता रहे थे कुछ, ऑडियंस समझ रही थी और कुछ, कोई बात नहीं.
Sanjay, I want to talk a little bit about how you work with actors, right? And from Khamoshi the musical to now Love and War, it's always been A-list actors. Even when you launch newcomers, they were star newcomers. How do stars enhance your storytelling?
When you choose them, they have a certain aura, a certain beauty, a certain talent. I've only worked not with stars. I've worked with wonderful actors.
Of course.
So Nana Patekar is a wonderful actor. Um, uh, Only in front of the camera, I will say wonderful. The rest we will not discuss. Or Manisha was a wonderful actor. Or Seema Biswas is a great actor. And any actor that I've worked with, what Shah Rukh did for Devdas is very, very special. Those close-ups, those movements, those fragility of a man who's a big star, who's always in control, who has an audience, his arms are up. Here was a man who just became fragile. And he said, "Kaun kam waqt bardasht karne ko peeta hai?" And look at those eyes. So they were all talented. Madhuri was talented. The great Amitabh Bachchan. I have never looked at them as stars. Ranbir, even when he was assisting me, I said, "You're a great actor. You have, uh, you have talent that is second to none. You are very special." So I have been very, very fortunate to have been able to cast the person that I have thought of, that I have wanted in a film, that the story needs. And when a certain actor has not done the film, it has always been for the best. So when you will, the only thing that God has granted me is whatever I wanted to for filmmaking. He's granted me nothing else. He's only granted me what you want. You want Amitabh Bachchan for the film, granted. You want Shah Rukh Khan for a film, it's granted. So that's the only thing I need to be realizing that, chalo, I also have some own reason to be happy, to smile, because God has blessed me with those things. But they do bring. Stars have a lot of audience. They have a lot of people who come to see them. They come to see what I have done with them, because I normally cast them out of their comfort zone in a role that is not their comfort zone. So for Shah Rukh, for example, he's done Raj and Rahul in most of his films. Till then, at that point, suddenly he was in a dhoti kurta in a boat in Calcutta, and he was like, "Can I get rid of this dhoti? Can I?" He would be stumbling. He was out of his comfort zone. And then he started enjoying it immensely. Ajay Devgan or Salman Khan or very, very actors, I'll say, who have a huge audience, and therefore my work gets seen. Sometimes with big actors, the work doesn't get seen. It is rejected. It's okay. You should be happy that even if Guzarish didn't do well at the box office, I'm very proud of that film. I'm very proud of what Hrithik did in that film. I'm very proud of what Aishwarya did in that film. Everything doesn't have to work. Sometimes it doesn't fall into place. You love it, you believe in it, yes, move to the next one. If it's done very well, you believe in it, yes, move to the next one. I don't linger on to the Friday. The Friday of the release is the most difficult day for me, because I go away. And I'm a jobless person. I don't know what to do. I have nowhere to go to. I have no studio to go to. I have nothing to tell somebody to, ab ye kar lo, wo kar lo, wo kar lo. I'm a workaholic. I feel jobless and useless and redundant on that day. Only hoping that people grant me the next film. Because if they see it, if they come for it, if they like it, they love it, then I'm alive a little more. But also, I need to tell the audience, even if they don't like it, I will remain alive. I'm not going.
But you talked about Ranveer, right? And he spoke about how when he was your assistant, it was very, very difficult, right? And he said after 10, 11 months, he quit. But then in that same conversation, this was a conversation he had with Neha Dupia, he said, having said that, and I'm quoting his words, "I think all my performances that I do in cinema all come from that experience, from him, from you. He was a true teacher in that sense. He taught me everything in terms of acting and emotions." Now, here's something Ranveer Singh has said about you. "Sanjay Leela Bhansali broke me down and he made me into ash so that I could rise from the ashes to be reborn as the artist that I've grown into today. I'm indebted to him lifelong for that." What is this making and breaking?
I tell you, when you get together with somebody, I'm casting her in the film, presume. Then you come with a clean slate. I come with a clean slate. I don't know you. I didn't know Ranveer. I saw Ladies versus Ricky Bell and cast him in Ram Leela. So you can imagine. And he says, "Are you sure you want me?" I said, "Yes, I want you. I think you have something in you to play that character, Ram in Ram Leela." Again, instincts. Again, something that you see a face and you connect. Salman Khan saw me the first time. He said, have I met you before? I said, no, because I would know if I've met Salman Khan. Salman Khan wouldn't know if he's met the new first-time filmmaker who stepped through for 8 hours to meet him outside. I said, no. He said, but I know you from the past. So I said, maybe. But that connect, once you meet a person, Aishwarya Rai or Deepika, when I met Deepika, when I went to her house the first time and she opened the door, I was froze by the beauty of that woman, by the eyes, when I realized that there's so much of subtlety, there's so much of fragility, there is so much of beauty. And when she started talking, I realized her voice was beautiful. Then I realized that I was in the right place at the right place. I knew that this girl would be molded, would be taken somewhere. So it's your instinct of how you connect. Your soul has to connect to their soul. As long as they are respectful of you and you're respectful of them, and both of us get together to say, Bajirao, shave your head off, do this, do that, become very lean for your last death scene. Those are all physical appearances. But how does Bajirao feel? Another actor who was offered that role said, but Bajirao is a wimp. I said, Bajirao is the greatest warrior. Bajirao is the greatest lover. Because how many of you have the ability to get the other woman that you are in your house to your house? So it's a very, very brave, chivalrous role. It's a role of a man. And that is what you need to play. So what kind of brief? And most of them I realized, they watch me when I'm discussing a scene. Because I start imbibing the character who I am going to shoot. So they watch, I don't give them instructions, but they watch what happens to my eyes. When does my tonality of the voice change? When do I get angry? When do I smile? When do I become quiet? They're watching. Ranveer is only watching. Alia only watched when I'm discussing a scene of Gangubai. Said, you have to get drunk. And I remember from the terrace at 2:30 in the night, I saw my father walking drunk in the night, talking to himself in the Buleshwar Chawl. And I said, he was talking. I said, now you have to get drunk and you have to talk. So she says, talk to whom? I said, you have to talk to the gods. You're addressing and abusing that man who came to call you and said, come, Razia is calling you. But that moment, your anger burst of what God did to you. Where you were as a barrister's daughter and you came to the brothel and became Ganga. That anger, this is where you explode. Now, this brief is not how do you act. You have to do it yourself. I give you the freedom to play it. But I've given you the subtext of saying this is when you abuse, scream, rave, rant at the gods. And the power that generated out of it. So how do these moments, there are innumerable moments that Ranbir and me, the climax of Savarya, it's one of the favoriteest pieces of mine of what an actor can do of 7 minutes of complete silence. And the way he performed, magic of, and one shot. And I would sit there and just cry and watch him. Because I realized he was an actor who, whether he's a good boy, nice person, bad person, nothing. Yeah. He's a great actor.
Yes.
That greatness comes is what we are. The artist should never be good, bad. It should not matter to you whether I'm a good human being or a bad human being. You should worry whether my art is pure. Is that stemming? Is that fountain from where it is stemming and coming? Is that pure? Because that purity will always reach the audience. When you get down to look at my biography, my study, my Google, my internet, they'll say, but he's a monster. But he is this, he's that, or she's this, she's that. It doesn't matter. I found the purity in these actors as people when they came to me. That this is, Alia said, I cannot play I was doing Inshallah with her. Then it suddenly got shelved. She broke down, she cracked up, cried, raved, ranted, locked herself in the room. Then I called her after 1 week and I said, you're playing Gangubai. She said, from Los Angeles, where I was supposed to be playing the character, I've come to Kamatipura. How do I do it? I don't know this character. I said, do you trust me and do you know me? Then I will tap into that strong woman in you, because I can see it in your eyes. I can see how strong, how convinced you are of certain things that you do. I've understood your personality. That is my job as a director, to see that this actor has what I wanted, or what him or her to play that role. That strength, that fragility, that vulnerability, whatever the role demands. How do you tap into that actor and say, I didn't know I could play the brothel madam. I didn't know I had a lower pitch. I didn't know I had to stand there and do this. I started enjoying her. And she just flew into the role. She even today sometimes talks like Gangubai. It's just so much a part of it. It's so beautiful.
It
To
is.
have trusted her, to have believed in her, to have tapped into her, to have given her those briefs of all those years in the red light area that I grew up 30 years of my life. I gave it all to her. So I have to be generous. You have to be very, very, you have to receive it. If an actor thinks I know it all, which most of them do, if they think they know it all, and I think this scene should be done here, once an actor told me, I think the camera should, not here, I'll go there. And I'll stand and stood there, and this is where you should take the shot from. I said, are you done? Now get back to your mark. because because you have to know that you know what you're seeing.
Yeah.
That shot comes in and after 1.5 hours of that film in a particular scene, in a particular moment. You are not keeping all that in mind. You are just saying, I feel like doing this. No. So I grant my actors freedom. I grant them love. I fall in love with them. I become them. I become those characters. If I'm doing Alzheimer's, there was a phase where I forgot everything because you imbibe. Then you go through Gangubai and you realize the injustice that I was seeing and that atmosphere of all the time I was going to school through those red light areas every day when I saw. So how much is an actor ready to receive? How much is an director ready to give? Way beyond only what drama is written around. There is an essence behind how to do a scene, how to play a part, how to go about it. Um, 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 there are many, many mysteries to it. It's another debate that one has to go through of how an actor and director should work.
Yeah.
Or in many cases, not work.
Let's talk about music because I feel like once I was doing an interview with him and in the middle of it he said, "Bas, can we stop now?" I feel like you're approaching that point. Nahi na? Theek hai.
I think they're approaching that point.
No, guys, where are we? No, right? Okay, good. No, I have their support. Sanjay, you launched your own music label, right? There's now Bhansali Music, and I feel like in your cinema, the songs are like mini movies, right? What I mean by that is that when I see Sakal Ban, or when I see Meri Jaan, or when I see any of your songs, even in and of themselves, they give me joy. Whether I know the context of who these characters are, or what happened before, or what will come after, just that piece that you create is so magical. What's happening now, though, more and more, I feel Hindi cinema is kind of moving away, especially from the lip sync song. It's very much about the montage song now. It's very much about characters not breaking into song and dance. How has your relationship with music changed? And how do you feel about what it should do now?
My characters will continue singing till you have music in life. For me, music is the most important. My mother used to tell me, I was a 6 month child, and if she played the radio, I would turn on my stomach, and only my neck would move. So she said, you started responding to music then. You knew that there is something where it starts moving. The body, the soul is consumed with music. I listen to music if I had my way, I'd still keep a headphone and listen to music non-stop. If I'm bathing, if I'm brushing my teeth, if I'm talking to the doctor, my music has to be on. Music में क्या ना सुर लय सब universe connect होता है उससे. Everything is music and dance. If you realize how it all moves, the fact that we are destroying this beautiful universe with our own idiosyncrasies of greed, power, etc., that's another story. But there is constant music around me, and I feel all kinds of music inspires me. Suddenly I listen to a Bengali folk. Suddenly I listen to a South Indian song. My mother, who's 91, listens to Lungi dance and Nagin dance, and that's her playlist. So I listen to all kinds. My father used to make me hear Bade Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab, Pandit Ustad Amir Khan Sahab, Gangubai Angal, and all those great singers, Keshori Munkar, and he would also play Dada Konke for me. Var Ragala Lagli Kara. He says it was a very strange way of teaching and training a little kid to fulfill his dreams, to become a filmmaker, to understand his response to music, to understand he's sensitive, to understand he will tell a story, to understand he's watching everything. I understood what my grandmother was suffering, what my father was going through. I was an observer of faces, and yet there was music all the time. From the mohalla, from the guy down, I needed music all the time. And then I started, 18 times he made me watch Mughal Azam. He would take me, put me in Alankar Talkies, it's next to the red light here. Then he would go up to say, watch Bade Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab. And then he would go up to sleep. And I'm like, I am not interested in that song. How many times will I see that the greatness of it? Of course it's great. But today when I look back at that time, I said, what a teacher I had. Who was teaching me about music? One day I said, I want to listen to Jab Jab Phool Khile record, and I don't want to listen to Gangubai Angal. So he took all those great classical pieces and threw them in the gutter down. He says, you're not worth it. You don't understand the importance of music. Until you understand that, nothing can happen to you. Anger. My teacher was always angry. Angry about life, angry about, will you at least fulfill my dream? And music is the right source of fulfilling it. So his strict instructions were always listen to Lata Bai, always listen to Rafi Saab, always listen to Jagjit Singh. And of course, those 8, 10 great. He was very fond of Kishore Munkar. He was very fond of a lot of them. But that training of listening to that kind of music, and then you watch Mughal Azam, the song sequences, then you watch Pakiza, and you watch the song sequences, then you watch Raj Kapoor, and then and you say, no, this is what I want to do. So when I grew up, my mother used to dance on stage and before marriage, and she had danced with P.L. Raj in one of the big ballet shows. P.L. Raj Master is the choreographer who choreographed Monica, My Darling in 70s. Big, very big name. I don't know, most of you may not know him. So my ambition was to be P.L. Raj Master's assistant. I said, you make me Raj Master's assistant, mom, you know him, take me to him, I'll be blessed. So she says, you're very ambitious, but I don't think it's a good idea right now. You study. So, but music and dance was a very important part. Every of my characters, I start my films first with music. क्या वो कैरेक्टर गुजारिश में जो आपको बहुत एतराज था आपके रिव्यू में लिखा था आपने तो आपने लिखा था तो ये यूथनेशिया की पिक्चर में म्यूजिक कहाँ से आ गया बोला था ना आपने
I don't remember.
I've researched today, I have it on my phone, mobile. But for me, that character has to sing. I have to sing. My characters will sing. Does Billy sing? What kind of background comes to my mind? What kind of music should it come from the fields of Goa in the far off distance? All that is a soundscape from which then my character emerges. So first, wo dhundla sound aata hai, like Lata Bai refrain of a voice, oh, and then my characters walk in. That's when I start making the film.
They come to you with music.
And it's beautiful. This process, everybody doesn't understand. It may turn archaic, this filmmaking. Oh God, it's very old-fashioned. Why is he now making them lip-sync songs? Why is he doing it? I enjoyed every song I shot in Hiramandy. I enjoyed every song I shot in Gangubai. I made even Bajirao Peshwa dance and Simallari. So I made Khilji dance, I made Khilji sing. They have to sing. That is the best way I feel that mother's dance, which I keep talking about on a radio, in that house, that is catharsis. I saw that years ago in what I count my Bible. Vijayanand's guide, in which she goes to the Sapera Ka Basti and does a snake dance. That is my Bible. Whenever I get, I feel low or I feel there's a block or there is something, I go to guide, I open that Sapera Ka Basti ka dance and I see Wahid Arrahman explode, purge, catharsis, and I say, oh, what a beautiful way to express. So it is just not about songs and dances. It's a tradition. It's Raj Kapoor's tradition. It's K.L. Segal's tradition. Why will we let it go? Why do we have to be like Korean cinema, Spanish cinema, Iranian cinema? They do not have the tradition of music. We have. We should have. We have Lata Mangeshkar, Rafiza, we have Shreya Ghoshal. We have what ought to have expressed through music. Do they sing for their Ganpati festival? No. Do they have a Ganpati festival? No. We sing, dance all the way through it. So we celebrate life through it. This is one rare place where angst or joy or some of them are not good songs, so I agree that why do you waste time shooting it? But a lot of them are great songs. A lot of great filmmakers have left behind a legacy.
Yeah.
My assistants, some Punjabi, some Sindhi, they're only dancing, singing all the time. Sorry, wo gana thyo na, wo ye ga. So that is a part of, one of them is sitting right there. Arvinder only come with some dholka, sorry, wo wala, Gurudas man. So that joy of what happens in my office, we're only singing. When my office music sittings happen, where the dholwala comes in and then during Savla, Ranbir and Sonam would be seated, or Alia would come for Gangubai music sittings, and that's when we come alive. That's when they start getting their character. My filmmaking is different. It will not be like Pedro Almodovar. It will not be like Scorsese. It will not be like Christopher Nolan. It cannot be. Those are greats, wonderful. I want to enjoy. I'm basically, as I told you in many births, I was a poet. I was also a tamashgir in some births. Because this tamasha that I explored, and how to express on the high note, is very difficult. Uh, Subtlety of an Irani cinema span, I understand, subtle. But when you do Devdas and when you have to play Shah Rukh Khan at that operatic pitch, it's very difficult to do it. I've come down to delicacy, I've come down to quietness. But songs, dances, please don't stop singing and dancing. Even if cinema stops it, even if new filmmakers stop doing it, don't stop it. It's a moment of joy. It's something that you should cherish. Raj Kapoor, who shot the best songs ever and who created the best music ever.
Yeah.
I can never forget what Kamal Amroi Saab did, and I can never, ever, ever, in the next 3 births, even shoot a song what he's left behind. And so it's so inspiring to have left behind a legacy. We can't and should not and must not chuck that legacy away. We have to grow on it, build on it, find our roots, because otherwise we lose everything that is Indian.
Yeah.
None of us wear dhotis, none of us wear kurtas, we are wearing pant shirts, none of the women are wearing saris or covering their head like my grandmother. It's tradition, there's nothing old-fashioned, archaic about it. So before I start and take this in conversation to another direction, we come back to where we are supposed to.
No, so tell me this. You said that so Ranbir and Sonam are sitting and you know you have the dolls, and you told me that you've made did you say 4 songs, 5 songs for Love and War already? So then Alia, Ranbir, Vicky are sitting while you're composing this music?
They have not yet come. They're going to start coming. But Alia, who was 9 years old when she was doing a film with her and Ranbir, that's how I discovered her. So we had a music sitting, and then Ranbir and Alia were told to dance. And then my mother joined them. And then my cousin who was there, she joined. So our house became a song and dance routine. So are we serious? Are we making cinema? Are we doing some tamashgir? Are we doing some nautanki? But that is the joy that I grant millions of people in this country who, in my own artistic or my own subtle way or of my own aesthetics, will grant and give it to them because I'm also like them. So I feel that my actors understand music. They will come and listen. They've all heard all the songs I've made. So we want to come this time. I think nowadays everybody's a little more busy. Or they have endorsements, they have ads. So everybody's all the time busy. But I'm never that busy. So when I don't get a scene, I'm low, I'm feeling blue, so call the dholwala, call the singers, if she's free, she want to come and just sing in the office. That's how it, when I was making Black and there were no songs in Black. So all through some scenes I would say, please call Sarojji. Please call Saroj Khan. I want her to come and do 1, 2, 3 for somebody. Call whistle in those days. To whistle, so the song would start playing. So the actors would start dancing. I was deprived of that joy of hearing a Nagara play, and I said, I am not making a film without songs ever in my life because I want Sarojji there. I want her to be calling the shots and creating the dance pieces which are. Which is an extension of that little boy who watched the dance.
Yeah.
This little boy who made those big sets. Those things I've asked for from those colorless walls.
Yeah.
Granted. So I'm never letting that go.
Good. I hope you never do.
Yes.
Okay, I'm almost done and I'll open it up to the
I think they're also done.
No, they're not done. Okay, here's a question I have, Sanjay. What I love is that people can love your work, people can really criticize your work, but nobody can ignore your work, right? Like I said, Hira Mandi, for all the criticism is the only Indian show.
I'm sorry, but my office only showed me the praises and they never showed me any criticism. Where is Prerna? Where is she gone?
Prerna's protected you.
Oh, there was criticism. I have
yes, my friend.
completely unaware of it.
There was criticism, but tell me this. Do you take criticism in a way where you say, okay, I'm willing to listen and I might take this forward and apply it to the next project? Or are you happier just working in your cocoon?
Why do you think I'm here? Out of the 10 films I've made, 8 you've killed.
This is not true.
But I respect your opinion. I respect the role of a review, of how constructive criticism. And I've always been your friend. I've always loved you because, and we never discussed why did you write this, Anu, or Anu, do write a good word or put in nothing. I don't believe in it. You have a right to express yourself. I have a right to express myself. When you listen to criticism, which is a very important part of filmmaking, please do not make the mistake if there are filmmakers here that, just ignore the reviewers, No, they are very important part of completing that film that you have finished. Audience finishes it when it goes to them, and the reviewers finish it constructively of giving them a direction to watch. When the review becomes biased, when the review comes with an agenda, when the review comes with a personal angst that you're taking out, that, my dear, is not acceptable. Khamoshi the reviews were very good. It was all 5 stars, but the trade, it was released in 1996. They called Khamoshi the Razia Sultan of the 90s because it had a big star cast. It collapsed the first day. It was a disaster at the box office. But that film, 25 years later, somebody's made Coda and walked off with the Oscar for the best foreign language film. It's identical. It's not, I'm not saying it's copyright, it's a similar theme, similar thought. I made it 25 years back. But you were, by the trade, I still remember the way they were completely killing, not the film, they were killing my spirit to make the film. There was a person with a new voice who walked in, which somebody over here will get up and make a film, which is not what is happening right now. That is a new voice. That new voice has to be supported by constructive criticism. Shekhar Kapoor called me and said, you're very indulgent. Out of love, out of wanting to see that I continue to make films. And I never forgot that criticism. Even now when I spoke to him, I said, I still remember that call you made and said, there is something in you, but you're indulgent. You don't indulge like that. You make a film, you should know when to stop a scene. You know how much to do, you must know how much not to do. So I have never taken a review and said, tear it or ignore it or no. When I start seeing that there's a bias, somebody's trying to kill, not forget me, his film which is good. But maybe I think you don't like him or you don't like her. Then you realize that then you're taking a very, very big strength of a filmmaker, which is a review, which he becomes a better filmmaker, or he... of course, I'm granting too much power to you, but I still feel that is a power should be granted. But then you're breaking the spirit of a new voice. So it happened during Sabaria with me. I understand it happened during Guzarish with me. Of course, it's difficult to stifle everybody's voice because you want to get up and film after film, you want to find excellence. As I keep saying, you can never excel in anything. You have to just pursue it. It's an illusion. It keeps going. And you want to get better and better and better. And sometimes you realize in trying to get better, you made mistakes. Then you want to correct those mistakes and you get better again. It's a process of discovering a journey which you should not know what is in store for you. What is a review 5-star? Am I going to call up and buy that review? Very, very shameful. Am I going to take something and write a review for you because you're a dear friend? That is not right. I could have called you any time and said, Anu, you are friends. I've learned 8 years I've lived in that house. Write a good line. I've never done that in my life. But I've always read all your reviews. Even today on my phone, I have them all on my phone, so I can read them out to you now. I value it. You must understand that when I keep saying it, it is not to run you down, or I value that what is Anu said, what is XYZ said. You must read. You must be open to criticism. Everybody can't keep praising you all the time. And you should not get affected by the praise, which I get very little. And you should not get affected by the hate also or the criticism, because it's okay. It's a part of the game.
Yeah. Okay, what can you tell us about Love and War?
God, where does that come from?
Come on, we want to know, right, guys? We can't let you go without telling us something.
You want to hear the story of Love and War? So you have to wait for it.
Okay, there was internet theories that it is a reworking of Raj Kapoor's Sangam.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all. I love Sangam. I have watched it. Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam is also like Sangam.
Yeah.
I tried to make Aishwarya Rai into Vaijayantimala from Sangam. Vaijayantimala is the biggest ever star, the most beautiful woman on Indian screen ever, according to me. Um, so when I saw her in Sangam, I was like, oh my God, is this how a director? And I'd seen her other work, but nobody had seen her as beautifully as Raj Kapoor had seen. Nobody had seen Zinat Aman as beautifully as Raj Kapoor had seen. Nobody had seen Padmini Kolhapur as beautiful as Raj Kapoor. I said, what is this man? I've never met him. I wished I'd met him for 5 minutes. I would have taken so much more because I'm a sponge. If I meet you, I'll take all your characteristics, all your thought processes, all the way you think, the way you ask, the way you laugh, when do you laugh, everything. I'm a sponge. Uh, that's how I understand my actors also. Quickly I assimilate and put them into my system and then rework. So it is not Sangam, but with all my love for Raj Kapoor, and you never remake a great man, a great director's classic. How do you remake Mughal Azam, or remake Sangam, or remake Pakiza? Hiramandi is a tribute to Pakiza. Hiramandi is my love for Kamal Amro, who is the most, what is the right man, right word? Just rich man को क्या बोलते हैं वो जिसको not
Opulent.
he's the most opulent or the what is the right man? No, it's he knew what beauty was. He knew what life was, and in those banquets and those beautiful kothas and those beautiful
Flamboyance. Yeah.
flamboyance of another. I don't know what is the right word for it. It's sad that out of this 200 people, nobody can help me find that one word that I want for Kamal Amroi, the great man. So anyway, we've all understood what I was saying. But those are the great people that you cannot remake.
Yeah.
You should not remake Sholay. You should not remake Mother India. So why would I remake Sangam?
Anything else you can give us? I mean, we have to wait till March 2026.
Yeah, but
It was Christmas 2025 and then you took it to March.
yeah, but थोड़ी मेहनत अच्छा आपके लिए अच्छी और अच्छी बना दूं मैं आपके लिए. ये सवाल है रणबीर कपूर को पूछो. No, I think it's a film that I'm very excited about. It's a very, very special film because it's now not in the period. There are no pillars, no more costumes, no more horses, no
It's
more.
contemporary.
It's contemporary. It is different. The music is different. I'm enjoying doing it. I've got wonderful actors. I'm coming with Ranbir after 18 years. After 18 years, Ranbir and we are working together. I am, Alia and I've just worked, and I can't stop working with Alia because still so much to be said through her. Still so much to tap into that chota packet, bada dhamaka girl that she is. Vicky Kaushal for the first time I'll be working with. So, and more than wonderful actors, they're also wonderful people. The love for them that I have, the love for me that they have so far is very, very good. And I think that is what will keep, because relationships change, what everything changes in life. So I feel I'm looking forward. It's a very important film in my life. I've made films back to back to back without a holiday, without a holiday, without a holiday, without. So that first question of yours that I'm tired and I'm exhausted, no, I'm rejuvenated. And this one I'm really raring to go. But it's a difficult film for me, so I will take a little time, my friend, to make it properly, carefully. Don't take myself for granted. Don't take my great actors for granted. Don't take my audience for granted. There's a lot of responsibility, so we have to do it well.
Okay, I'm going to end with something that you were asked, what does Savarya mean? And this is how you explained it. You said Savarya means beloved, but he's not just any beloved. He's the dusky, blue-tinged Savla god Krishna, who is adored as Savarya. On a more sublime note, Savarya is the beloved who is always in love, but not every lover can qualify as Savarya. Only the lover who stands the test of time, who overcomes all obstacles, who doesn't care whether he gets the girl or not, as long as he's consumed by love, as long as he remains in a perpetual state of being in love, that man, that rare lover is Savarya. My thesis is you are Savarya and cinema is the beloved. Yes?
Yes. What more can you love more? I mean, that is my purest moment. Making a film is my purest moment. It's something that I've enjoyed for so many years. Watching, making, And I just hope to God that uh, this beloved doesn't leave. This one stays there. Happy ending.
That's so lovely. Thank you, Sanjay.
Bye.
But no, we have audience questions.
Can I remove these four and just keep one and say, okay, whoever this is? Keep it. I have to ask all?
No, you don't have to ask all. Just a
Too
few.
many questions.
Okay, just a few. How many ever you feel like.
So I'll start with that one.
Okay,
Which I've
start with
taken
this
out.
one.
Anshuman Singh. Who?
So, what would you suggest to student filmmakers, or just artists in general, to do, or rather, the lens through which they should view the world around them, which will help them while creating art of any and all kind in such detail? And I have an added question to this. So,
First one.
sure.
I feel that if you're a great observer of life, then you understand art very clearly. You don't have to go to a painting school, a film school, but you observe. When I went to the Film Institute, I learned editing. But what I learned from watching those great European filmmakers, observing life every time, when I still remember that as a child, that same boy in the colorless room I keep talking to, the idea is to push walls so that I make my space bigger. Then I realized that in that, when my grandmother was talking and my father was talking to her, there was a cockroach that went past. That detail of watching is what your observing skills of then when you are creating a frame, you will understand the importance of that one little nail behind. Because I wanted to kill that cockroach that always came around. But that was the imagery that I came from, gruesome, brutal. But then I've discovered that I had to run away from that world. Um, but for me to observe that when my mother is patting me and singing the lullaby, there is a sadness to that voice because of the circumstance that you are doing. To neend ke andar, I am observing. So if you are observing, a person who observes any frame, you go to the road, it's a frame. You go to a party, there is a face that will attract you, that'll tell you a story. It has a, there if you go anywhere to a museum also, from all the paintings. So how do you observe? And then when you are putting up your own frame, um, it's a visual medium. It's not that you can talk your script out. You have to show it. So all that you talk about beauty and all that I put over there and your opulence and all those are words I don't like hearing about my work because it's not that. It's about telling that story. In that moment, I need to create that big set. I need to also look into that small little detail over there. I also need to look at that junior artist who's standing in the sun for me in that crowd. Am I giving her the dignity of being an actor in front of my camera? Even if she's standing in the 20, the 200, what, in the last building that she is, I will watch her. I will go and correct her hair. I will go and correct her. So the detail that you watch in life comes from your childhood upbringing that you has your teacher taught you, has your film teacher that taught you, have you yourself learned. Nobody can teach us anything. We learn from life. We have to learn as to how is these two bottles being kept. Why is her desk a little more crooked? So my mind is always adjusting, creating, pushing those walls, then painting my house, then putting things in order. Even today, my friend, when that room starts haunting me, it starts troubling me, I rearrange my house round and round. Even today, even last week, I will rearrange my house to put my mind, the chaos of my mind, into harmony, to give it a form, to give it a visual dignity, to give it a certain respect of how things should be placed. Then they change the next week. But that small detail of that one little light there or one little thing there, and that last woman, junior artist who's standing there, unnoticed she thinks, but I notice, I give her the dignity of being there. So you have to learn filmmaking by becoming a filmmaker or observing a director who puts in that effort into one. I learned this from V. Shantaramji. I was sitting with Renu Saluja one day in Raj Kamal's studio for Vinod Chopra's Parinda, and he came down for a walk. It was Raj Kamal. We were sitting outside the editing room. And he came and fired us and said, future of Indian cinema, sitting over at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, faffing away, get to work. So Renu, of course, being Renu, she was in it, but I also ran behind. Then I peeped out. He went for a stroll in his studio and he picked up that one little leaf that was there, gave it to the man who was walking behind. Ye kachara kyun? That man who made Rajkamal Studio, who made Prabhat Studio, which is the Film Institute now. What a great man who created studios. Maybe I can't create an office for myself. He noticed one little leaf over there that had fallen. That detail, that is why he's a filmmaker that I worship, because of the detailing in his work. So you have to learn from what you observe. You have to observe everything. You have to observe everything that is here. You either let it be, you either rearrange, or you discard, but you have to react, you have to respond to everything you see. And I get exhausted many times making a film because I respond to multiple things. And that is humanly not possible for you to do it. So this, everything is computing and getting fed into my mind. So it sometimes the filmmaking gets slow, sometimes it gets chaotic, sometimes you get temperamental because you how many things to take care of. But it's bothering that red mark on the paper I'm watching. So you have to understand that space that I design
That red
comes.
mark?
Yeah. So you have to understand that the space that I designed to take a shot, it comes out of great eye detailing without detailing of a moment that you capture on the screen, of a scene from an actor that you get. There are moments in Devdas, in Black, in Rani's moments. Those are fragile, beautiful. But I observe, wait. Don't cut the camera. There is something coming because I'm observing that moment to come. One second, do something, that thing away from there because it's disturbing what she's trying to communicate. So how alert you have to be to the frame along with being alert to the moment that the actor is conveying through that poignant or a happy or a joyous or whatever. So detailing is everything. If there's no detail, then there is no depth, there is no dimension. Dimension from the small to the big to the grand to everything has to have detail. Too long an answer I gave you a question.
One more?
You choose.
Yeah, you read out the name. Shikha Ghosh.
I was really overwhelmed with whatever you said. I just have one query, and it's like, is that for corporate people who are in the middle age, you're seeing many of them are trying to strive into acting. So, is there any advice for them?
What is it?
Corporate people, middle aged, moving into acting. Any advice for them?
No.
Pick only.
Let me pick.
You pick. Okay, mix it up and pick again.
Last one.
Abro Das.
Hi, Anu. Hello, Sanjay. And Anu, first of all, congratulations on THR Talks. It's so
Thank you.
lovely. Sanjay, wonderful conversation. My question is, have you, in any given point of time in your entire career, have you ever been intimidated by scale?
Bye.
Scale.
No, if I would, why would I make big films? I enjoy making it. I tell you, a lot of people make films which are bigger than mine in terms of the canvas. Mine look nice because mine look bigger because there's a lot of detailing that goes into it. There's a lot of thought. There's a lot of color coordination. There are a lot of beautiful scenes. Nobody talks. Again, a very strange thing. Nobody talks about the mise en scene, the choreography of scenes. Is not only the choreography of songs. When does a scene begin? Where does the actor go? Where does it end? When do I reuse that moment? The song in Gangubai,
Which one?
the car song, which is
Meri Jaan.
Meri Jaan. Look at the choreography of, it's not a song,
lovely.
it's moments of traveling from here to there to there, and actors have to reach that cathartic point. So it's not just scale. Gangubai is not a big scale mounting like Bajirao Padmavat would be, but it's it's so big in its content and its character. Who a small girl from some comes and finds dignity for the women that she fights for, or the children of born to the brothel. Now that is also scale. That subject is scale. How I treat it is understood because there were realistic moments there for sure, but it was more a watercolored impression of that place where I lived and where Gangubai lived. So the scale comes in also the content, the character. That I think Gangu is one of the biggest characters. She's as big as Bajirao is, or as Devdas is, or in terms of being the character. Her world was in this narrow lane, but I still gave it a scale. So scale is not something that I go for. You don't. Black is in a house. Savaria is in a house. There is no scale in that sense, but it looks big because you lens it in a way, you grant that big space to your actors, to your the characters rather than the actors. So its scale is again of how you look at it. The war scenes in Bajirao and Padmavat are my favorite. So I was very nervous doing it. I was till Sham Kaushal, who's done all my films and action in all my films, he used to always think कि आप तो मुझे बुलाते हो, हीरोइन हीरो को थप्पड़ मारती है, मुझे घर भेज देते हो वापस, उससे ज़्यादा कोई एक्शन होता नहीं है आपका. So then came Ram Leela, in which then I started enjoying shooting riots and shooting action scene, and then Bajirao, and then the wars in Padmavat. They have a lyricism to it. They have a scale to it. They have a you just don't fill up people with VFX and multiply people up. We've done it, but there are many other things that make that war a war with scale, that you shoot with scale. So it's just not a big set, or it's just not the number of days that you shoot, or how do you what is scale according to you?
How do you define scale?
The whole canvas of, yeah. But now when you were asking,
No,
in
I
fact,
feel-
what I had in mind is
The bigness.
greatness. Yeah.
Because I
But-
feel that I grant it to my if Bajirao, I cannot shoot in a. So it's never to find scale. Oh, I'm going to get scale to shoot over. It's about telling stories which I get to express a lot through them, and that they matter to me, and then I purge through those with those characters and move to the next film. So that is the scale that we talk about.
But Sanjay, have you ever had a thought or a visual in your head that has terrified you because it's so ambitious?
No. You're not talking of my entire career like I finished saying everything and I'm done and over with. There's so much more to come.
I
I'll
know.
wait for something that terrifies me. Wait, it's
अभी
a
तक
long
नहीं
way
हुआ
to go.
अभी नहीं हुआ
No.
Not at all.
I've
But you're nervous.
always. You should be insecure. If you're not insecure, I was so insecure outside with you before the interview. I think everything that if you're alert and you want it to be good and you hope that people see you or see your film or reach out to you, you have to be nervous. You are confident, for sure. You need confidence, you need commitment, you need all that fearlessness, but you have to be insecure. You should not know when this scene is, where this scene is going to go. You have to be biting your nails through the day as it unfolds, as you're taking shot after shot after shot. Then when you see the edit, the second day itself, when I normally see the edit immediately, that's when you know that it's fallen in place. You got more than what you had thought, or when you went with that paper and you did something more. The actors feel so. But that comes out of, Alia doesn't know. Alia says, what do I rehearse? You give me the screen, the page in my hand, the script page. But I come out of the van, it is a different scene that you hand over to me. That's how I'm responding to. Because I'm nervous, will we get it? So that page is just to grant me that we've got something to shoot if nothing happens. But if you're not insecure, the best will never come out. So you should constantly be nervous. It's nice. That's why you have nerves. To be nervous, you should always grant your nerves that importance of what they do to you, and therefore you
Create
become
better.
a better creator. Having said that,
Sanjay, thank you so much.
thank
this
you.
was
I
so lovely.
thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. God bless.